Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Adobe Live. My name is Ryan Selvey, and I am very excited to be joined by the Premiere beta team today. And we're going to have a really great time going through a bunch of different beta stuff that you can explore. And we have Kylee Peña here. And it's going to be a full hour for everything for you. And we are going to check out basically some different audio tools. We're going to check out different tagging systems. It's going to be a really good time, and I'm looking forward to having her join us and kind of just tell you about what's new in Adobe. But hello to everyone in chat. We are live on both YouTube and Behance, and it is a great pleasure to bring her in. So I'm going to not beat around the bush anymore and go ahead and bring her in. Hey, welcome to the show.
Hi. Good to be here.
How are you doing today?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm doing really good. I have been messing around actually with these Premiere tools for a little bit now, and it's been really exciting because they're things that I have kind of always struggled with audio personally. So it's like one of the things where it's like if I can't see it, it's nice to be able to like have faith that my audio is going to work out. Because if I look at my older work, all my audio work is awful. It ruins an
Yeah.
entire project. So it's like nice to finally have tools that might actually help alleviate that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah.
I'm also
Recording in
not very good.
progress.
I'm also not very good at audio. My little secret.
But do you want to give a little background as to who you are and what you do?
Sure. I'm a senior product marketing manager working on professional editorial. So I focus on Premiere Pro. And I love talking directly to everyone who uses Premiere Pro to understand how we can build the product even better. And then I work with product and engineering and design to get a lot of those things done, and then come back to tell you all about what was accomplished. So I get to be really close to the people building the product and also the people using it, which is extra special because I got my start as a teenager working in Premiere Pro. And I was using Premiere Pro when I realized I wanted to be an editor. So I did the first 10 years of my career as an editor before I went into workflow and production technology and sort of went down kind of an adjacent path. So it's really full circle to be able to work on Premiere Pro now.
Fantastic. Yeah, no, it sounds like kind of the dream pipeline to be able to have actual impact on the things that you're working with,
Yes, very
which
much
I'm
so.
very envious of. But what will we be looking at today?
We recently introduced some new audio workflow tools into the Premiere Pro beta, and we say you can get to your final sound mix in fewer clicks because the tools are just faster, easier, and more intuitive to access. So we've got intuitive visual fade handles, brand new essential sound clip badges, and AI-powered audio category tagging, redesigned effects clip badges, and intelligently resizing waveforms and some new colors. So I'm just going to go through and show you all those things now.
All right, sounds good. Well, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to share your screen here, and then we can hop right on in.
Yeah, let's jump on in. So I can show you in a bit how to get to the beta, but if you are a Creative Cloud subscriber, you get access to the beta apps. So you can download these side by side with the generally available shipping app, and they don't interact with each other. You can go into one and then into the other. And as long as the first number is the same, so 24 dot whatever, then the project files are also interchangeable. So you can kind of play around a little bit. Okay, so let's show you some cool stuff. So I'm going to maximize my sequence here so you can kind of have a chance at seeing this on the stream. So I'm going to hit the tilde key. Okay. So first, you're going to notice some new visual fade handles. These are really cool because you might be used to when you want to put a transition, you click here and you put, whatever your shortcut is, Command D, T, whatever, or right click on it and hit add default transition. Those are all fine. And you can still do that too, by the way. But what we have for you now, let me zoom in even more because this is like really one of my favorite things we've done in a long time. Okay, so go right here on the edge. You can see this little icon pops up, and I just have to drag from there. And now I have these new visual fade curves, and I have so much control over it, but also I can see where in my sequence there are audio fades happening. So before, it was like sort of a rectangle. And now we have this nice visual fade. So you know exactly what the audio is doing there. And you can even do it across two different clips. So let me just put these against each other. And then, you can just drag across clips and do a crossfade too. So that's super rad. Yeah. I'm just clicking on the icon, no hand. Yeah. Right. Yeah. And like, honestly, I don't know what that stuff is. So don't tell anybody. No, it's hard to remember what those things do. So it's really easy to just see. Like, we're all very visual people, probably as video editors. So it's easier to see what's going on here. So that's one thing. Yes. Mm-hmm. Oh, this. They are even on both sides right now, but that is a great feature request. Yeah, it's pretty much. Okay, so yeah, I can make it right here. I can make it like suddenly it just pops up or just really quick or very slow. Yeah, it's really cool to have access to the sort of slope of these things. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes, exactly. Yeah, so now I can see exactly what's going on here instead of just some sort of like opaque rectangles and stuff that are like, oh, here's a fade. You can see exactly the transition you have there and what
All
to
right.
expect when you're hearing
Sounds
it.
good.
Yeah.
Great. And
Yeah.
then just for everyone that is just joining us, we're going over the Premiere beta, and we're going over some really cool new effects that we have available to people. What other things do we have besides just the arches?
Yes. So aside from these fade handles, we have some new badges. So what we have in beta now, the power of AI automatically recognizes if your clips are music, dialogue, sound effects, or ambience, and it adds this new um, badge right here. So then you can see it actually as well what's going on in your timeline. So you can see there's dialogue, and I can hover over it. There's sound effects, and then we have ambience, the little leaf there, and then music down here. So let me go back
Oh,
into my
cool.
sequence and I'll show you really, I mean, it's cool to see the visual as well to know what clips you've got, but they actually are clickable as well. All right. So I'm going to go over text-based editing later if we have time in the stream, but you
Okay.
can see that I have the text-based editing workspace open right now. Here's my sequence transcription and stuff. So I might be working in my sequence doing a few things and I'm like, oh man, I can't actually hear her dialogue. So what I would have had to do before is click on the dialogue, go and hunt through all of the panels and things, looking for, the right tool, making an adjustment, and then coming back into my edit. But now, instead of that, I can just click on this badge right here. So I'm going to click on this. You can see when I hover over it, it looks clickable as well. So I'll click on that. And over here, the essential sound panel has opened automatically. I didn't have it open. It was just hidden away somewhere, but now I can click on this and it automatically opens the essential sound panel with tools specifically for dialogue. These are the most relevant tools that you'll need most likely to use for dialogue. So we've got enhanced speech and a bunch of other things like loudness and repairing and clarity. So I can make those adjustments and then, flip back over into my editing. So it's very easy to discover exactly what you need to edit. So I can do the same. Click on music down here, opens the panel up here, and then there are tools just for music right here, like Auto Match. and then sound effects. So
Oh, and so wait, what does that do? What does the auto match do?
auto match will match the loudness across your whole sequence. So if you've got a lot of dynamic range across your music, like maybe you pulled in music from a lot of different sources and they all mastered it to a different decibel level, you can just click on all of them and hit auto loudness, and it will sort of normalize all of them together.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So let
And then
me.
will that help also like equalize at all, or is it mostly just for your reference for loud noises?
That is, it's for just the overall quality of the loudness. So if
Oh,
something
cool.
is really quiet and something is really loud, it just kind of makes it so there's not a stark difference. It's great also for dialogue because some people's voices just are naturally more loud or more soft. They're speaking at essentially the same volume, but you would perceive it to be louder or softer. So that will help put it on the same loudness scale, so you're not like listening to an interview and then someone's suddenly shouting.
Oh, that's the worst.
Yes. Yeah, so I can show you really quick. If I highlight all these dialogue clips right here, and then I can come and click on loudness right here and hit auto
Okay.
match. That happened really fast, so I'm gonna hit undo. So you can see I hit hit auto match, and all these waveforms are gonna change to be the same loudness. Well, now I'm reset.
Oh,
Okay, let's do it again. There we go. So yeah, it put them all on the same level, and it does a loudness of like a broadcast quality loudness as well. So it makes it so these audio updates make it so much easier to find this stuff really quickly. Like you're editing all this
uh-huh.
dialogue. And also if I'm in my sequence and I want to highlight, if I want to select all of my dialogue and edit it, I can just come into the essential sound panel with nothing selected and select all of the clips with dialogue all at once. So hit dialogue right here. It selects all of them. And then I could do the loudness match. So I didn't even have to click and drag. We're just eliminating clicks right and left here, okay? I do have another badge to show you though, which is
Oh,
also
I would love to.
another
Yeah, yeah.
favorite.
So,
Okay, okay.
also with the badges, like,
Yes.
are you able to change them within the timeline as well, or is it mostly when you go and you click on the buttons on the side?
You can, so for instance, if this one were tagged incorrectly, I can
Okay.
go to it in the essential sound panel here and hit clear audio type right here and assign my own. So I can hit clear audio type, and then I can say, oh, I want to manually tag this one as ambience, and then it'll tag it. But it's doing auto tagging, so these things will just pop up for you automatically. Did I answer your question?
Yes. Works for me.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Let's see this. Gotta fix this real quick. Sorry, we're having some technical
Uh-oh.
difficulties. Just
Technical
switching them up
difficulties.
for
Never
us.
heard of them.
It's not working.
Let me know when the technical difficulties have
Let's see.
resolved, and then I will
Let's
keep
try
talking.
this.
I mean, the clip colors are really cool to look at without any other parts of the stream.
I apologize. We should be back in just a second. Okay. Let's see if this fixes it. Okay. Alright, we might just have to keep going. Let's see here. We'll just do this. Alright, say something again.
Can you hear me? My clip colors?
Oh, no. Okay. I apologize for everyone that's watching right now. It seems we have lost audio.
From me?
I'm trying to recover it.
Oh no.
Okay. All right, one more time.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, there we go. All right.
Woo.
Cool. We do have a question in chat. It says,
Yeah.
Kylie, you use the tilde key to expand the panel with, will it work with paragraph key on a non-US keyboard?
Oh, that's a really good question. I'll have to get back to you on that. I'm not as familiar with non-US keyboards. I'm sure we have an analog for it, but let me get back to you. Unless there's an Adobe person in the chat that wants to jump in.
Do we have
Good
any
question.
Adobe people in chat?
They're all
Um,
busy.
yeah,
Okay.
right?
But yeah, I'll get back to you on that.
Okay. Now, as far as I know that with new audio updates, users can now easily access features like remix, loudness matching, auto ducking, and Adobe Stock.
Mhm.
How do these audio enhancements streamline the content creation process, particularly for video creators working on products with dynamic audio requirements?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many ways. We designed this to be very useful for people, no matter your experience level. We did some looking at what we call mouse mileage, and that is like literally how many miles do you drag this thing around all the
Yeah.
time, this mouse. And it's a lot. Like you maybe cover more miles with your hand on this mouse than you do with your feet. And so eliminating as much of that as possible is really beneficial because it shaves off these seconds that can be turned into minutes that can you can put more creative energy into your work. You're not hunting, you're not kind of getting distracted looking for something. You just get in the work and do it and work faster and efficiently. So if you are an experienced editor, you just get to what you need faster. You know the tool, but it sort of predicts what you want and gets you there. So it knows, like, I know I'm editing dialogue. Instead of having to open the new workspace, go to the panel and all that, I'm already in the sequence. This is where I am. So I just click this and then it's right here. I don't have to open anything. But
Oh,
if you're a newer user or if you're just not as confident with audio and you've seen some audio workspaces, you're like, ah, it's too many mixers for me. It also helps guide you to the right decisions to make.
okay.
So you may not have known about loudness matching, but you click on this and it's one of the first things you see. We also have, repair and we've got dehum. So if you're recording on a room and you don't want to use enhanced speech, you can use that or reducing reverb. Clarity, you can EQ from here, and then some more creative things like everyone needs to be able to recreate a creative effect, like talking on a phone or something like that. So there's so many things that are so much easier to find. And then you can go deeper into the effects as well. We also kind of updated these effects clips right here, these effects badges, I should say. So when I click on the effects badge, it will open the effect control panel for you as well. So then if I have an effect on something here, I just click it, the effect control panel open. So again, reducing the hunting, the thinking, so you can put more thinking into the actual work that you're doing. You can also even right click on this badge and add some effects straight from here, change volume, do panning, things like that. So what we're working on is just like a more intuitive UI that really serves everyone. And we were able to show off this stuff at Sundance Film Festival. We had our own space on Main Street, kind of the center of the festival. And it was really cool to have directors who edit come up and find something in this for them, and then editors who cut, most of the films in the festival were cut on Premiere. So they were also like high-end editors, very experienced people that were like, wow, this is so much better. Because like nobody wants to have to think too hard about where to find something in the tool.
No,
I sure don't.
exactly. That's kind of how I was saying. Like, it's something that I don't necessarily want to have to juggle.
Uh-huh.
Because I already feel like I'm already doing too much. Like, it's nice to
Right.
be able to have confidence and being able to throw things aside. And it's cool to see that that extends far beyond even just like homemade stuff. It's also things that are in the professional sense and at Sundance. Now, at Sundance in particular, was there a strong response to these tools?
Oh, yes. Yes, it was really fun because some people would come up into our space because we were just like a massive Adobe presence. And we had some fabulous demo artists who are engineers and marketing people that work on the products, showcasing all these new features. And it was such an equalizer because it seems like everyone who gets into editing one way or another is a storyteller, but audio is just hard, man.
Right.
Audio, a lot of the paradigms of audio, of digital audio works workspaces and things, they're just built on this very like analog paradigm, and it can be hard to understand what to do in the right order. Like the order of events can very much matter, or you have to have this innate sense for what sounds good. And
Right.
I was struggled with that, with going too far with an effect and then it sounds tinny and I'm like, oh. So
Sounds like they're in
struggling
a
with
tin
audio is,
can.
yeah, a little bit of an equalizer. So no matter the experience level, people are like, oh, that's cool, that's really cool.
Right.
And so it was great to be able to connect like that. Like I said, I started out as an editor, and I started using these tools. I also edit for nonprofits now on the side. And I started using these and I couldn't believe how fast I got used to having all this. So
Right.
much so that when I would go back and have to demo it before it was live, it was
Right.
struggle bus for real.
That's the
But
thing. It's
yeah,
like
it
these
was
new
great.
tools. It's like they're kind of stripping away the idea of like ever being able to go back. I'm like, I can never live without these now.
Yeah, that's the perfect kind of feature. It's so obvious in hindsight, you know. And another thing I really love about this release is that we have the resizing waveforms as well. Another
Okay.
thing that seems so obvious in hindsight, but let me zoom in a little bit. So before, when you would change the track height here, this would turn into sort of like Tetris blocks, and you'd have to guess at what was in there. But now, when you make this really small, you can still see the waveform. So
Oh,
no
nice.
matter how you're editing, you still have an indication visually of what's going on. So these intelligently resize. And we've got some new clip colors that are just easier to read, reduce eye strain, things like that. And we're working on even more updates in that area while this is in beta. We've been getting a lot of really great feedback while it's in beta. And our designers have been very engaged in the community, learning how people are using this, what issues there could be, and we have such a great beta community. It's been fabulous to get all that real-time feedback so that we can iterate this before we ship it, which hopefully will be coming in the coming months. But yeah, you can actually access beta ideas and give community feedback right from the beta app, by the way.
And where's that? That's just at the top right there with
The
the.
top right up here next to this little guy, provide feedback.
Oh,
And you can
fantastic.
report a bug, request a feature, or just visit the community. It goes through our community forum, and we are in that every single day looking at that stuff. And we're also in a lot of other places on social media and things, but this is where we try to bring all of the feedback. So if you've got an idea, a feature request, or you're just like, nah, that shade of green ain't working for me, then let us know there. And we do take all that feedback to heart.
Now, with that in mind, if someone is interested in getting into the betas, but they don't have it on their computer or they don't know where to start, how can someone get involved in trying these other programs?
Yes. So in your Creative Cloud desktop app, you can see here, this is what it looks like on the homepage. Go over here to apps. And then if you scroll down this list right here, you can see beta apps right
Oh,
here.
great. And then will
And
this overwrite my current program that I have, or will I be able to have two different programs?
this does not overwrite your program. The release of Premiere Pro, the currently generally available release, and whatever beta we have available are side by side. They don't interact with each other. So
Oh,
you
great.
can have both. You can jump into one, close it out, jump into the other. As long as the version number is the same, the bigger number, it's fine to bring your project files back and forth if you like.
No way,
Some
really?
Yeah.
Oh, I
So
didn't know
right
that.
now, if you have 24.0 or above for the main release for your apps here, so I need to update mine. I have 24.1.
Okay.
And then I have for the beta app, I know I have 24 dot something.
Okay.
Then my project files, I can go back and forth with those. And a lot of
Oh,
people
great.
will make a copy, you know, to bring back and forth because there's always a chance of, you know, you open in a beta, something happening, but it's not super likely.
Right.
And the only thing is if there is a beta feature that you're using, like enhanced speech, and then you use enhanced speech and then open it in the shipping version, then enhanced speech will not exist because 24.1 doesn't know what that is.
Right.
So there's things like that. So people might use the beta version, use enhanced speech, render out the clip, but hopefully enhanced speech will be shipping very soon, and then you won't have to think about that.
Right. Then you can just have it right in the public release.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Now, I know you teased it a little bit earlier when we talked a little bit about text-based editing, but it's a significant addition to Premiere Pro Beta, and it's also even in public release now. Can you just explain to people who this might be new to how this feature works and how it empowers users to manipulate text directly within the editing interface?
Absolutely. Let me jump back into my project panel here. Let me go to this. Okay. So text-based editing makes editing video as simple as copying and pasting text. And when I was an editor, I primarily did talking heads, interviews, documentary, reality, things like that. So let's see what we have here.
Is that stuff that you still get to touch at all, or are you mostly full on
Yeah.
Premiere these days?
I my main job is primarily all Premiere, but I volunteer for a nonprofit and started doing video for them for their social media just to
Great.
stay up to date with everything. So I have been using text-based editing very, very aggressively over the last year. And it's amazing. I just think about how much time I spent not using it.
Yes.
And you'll see why, how quickly it really speeds things up. So I am in the text-based editing workspace here. So I've got that right here. And what that does is it puts this big transcript up on the left-hand side. So I can basically read what's going on in my video clips. And you can see I've also created a multicam clip. So I've got two angles here. This does work with multicam.
So cool.
Uh, yeah. And so when I import, let me go to the import window and see what I got going on here. You can turn automatic transcription on when you do import, and you can choose if you want to separate the speakers and how you want to auto transcribe. And when I was setting up this project, I just auto transcribed all the imported clips. And what it does is it'll look and say, does this have any voice activity? And if it does, it will automatically transcribe it. It will also detect the language. We have support for 18 languages right now. And
Oh,
this is
fantastic.
obviously in English. So yes. So let me see.
It can also detect which language it is, right? So it
Correct.
can.
Yes.
So then,
If you don't know, you can certainly just ask it to detect for you.
although if you don't know
And
what the language is, then I am concerned how you're editing it, like what that's gonna
yeah,
be.
if you don't know what the language is, then you might have other challenges, but hey, we'll help you out.
We'll help you get there. At least take that first step.
Yeah.
And then while you're playing an actual like transcribed piece of work, does it show where you are in the paragraph?
It does. Let me go ahead and so I have the source transcript right here. You can see it's the same name as my clip. So let me just hit play.
That you knew you wanted to be a track and field athlete.
So cool.
I actually didn't want to know I wanted to do track and field.
So it highlights it as it goes right there.
That's awesome.
So yeah. So I am going to just, let's see. I think she talks about university. I can just search the transcript. So if you've ever had a producer say, I know that they talked about XYZ, like I know they talked about Louisiana State, and you're like, oh man, okay, I've got to listen to all of this. And it's like active listening because you're
Right.
actively trying to figure out if they said that. And then like half the time, it's something they said offhand, like later, like at lunch. And you have to be like, I couldn't find it. But now you can just search. You can search the transcript. And then once I'm in this, all I have to do is highlight this And then I can hit insert and overwrite on my keyboard. I'm going to do it right here so you can see it. So I'm going to hit insert.
Oh, great.
And it goes straight over here into my sequence.
Now,
So
when
I
you
can
click
keep
into that
building that too.
sequence, what happens to the text-based editing?
Yeah. So let's see. I'll just add another clip so you can see I'm not, no trickery here. Okay. So I have follow active monitor on at the bottom here.
Uh-huh.
So when I click into the sequence, the transcript will change.
Brilliant.
So now it reflects the sequence. So it's got the sequence name up here and it's got the transcript of my sequence.
Oh, great.
So I can also click back over into my source monitor and keep building. I'm going to open my other clip here and clear out my search. And let's see. I'm going to add this clip right here. And yeah, I'm going to go ahead and hit insert. And you can see I've got that here. So then I can click back into my timeline. And you can see there's a lot going on in here now. Now, this is a new thing that we have. Filler word detection. We had pause detection here. So we can see when there's silence, when there's no speaking. But we also have filler words. And filler words are non-word filler word. Like and
Yeah.
Non-words.
My favorite
And-
words, apparently.
Yeah.
Whenever I edit
people's
myself.
Favorite words. Yeah, you never realize that about yourself until you have to edit your own voice and you're like, oh no. So I can click on these three dots here and go to transcript view options. If you don't have filler words on, you can turn them on here. So I can turn them off and on. Another thing I really like is we added some other transcript view options like low confidence words. So if speech to text is guessing and it knows it's guessing at the word, it'll underline it. So then you can skim through and see where it did guess. And then you can change the pause length. So as I change this, there will be fewer or more pauses in the transcript.
Oh, so cool. And you can filter kind of highlighting all of the pauses if you want, right? So if you wanted to like make it a short, and you could kind of delete them all at once.
Exactly. Yeah, this is pretty cool. So
now I do want to take it back a little bit to what we were talking about at the very beginning here.
Yes.
You've now kind of imported these into a project. They're side by side. You have the updated transcript, but let's say that you can see here that already you have the icons of voice already on all of your audio tracks on your project. Is that because you had already identified them as such within the source material, or did it automatically detect it when you put it in?
It detected it when I put it into the sequence. So you could probably see that happen again. Let me see if it'll be friendly for me here. So I'm just going to highlight this and hit insert. It takes a moment to think about it and then it should label it. Yeah.
So cool.
So
and then you could always switch that out if you wanted
about
to.
It and yeah, and you can switch it up. You can turn off auto tagging too if you just don't want this.
Okay.
But it happens very quickly, and it's limited to when it goes into the sequence because there's no point right now in just using any of your cycles to tag literally everything because you can have a lot of stuff in there that you never use.
Right.
It happens so fast. It's really quite simple for it to just take a peek when you put it in the sequence.
That's so cool. I know that you spoke a little bit to it when we were putting things in. You're talking about transcription. But I can see over there on the side that you have speaker 2 and speaker 4. They obviously can have their own audio tags because one can be a high tone and one can be low tone. Now, you have that just as speaker 4 and speaker 2, but if I wanted to change that to like Joe and Stacy, would I be able to kind of update that as far as their names?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a little bit, let me see. Open. So what I have to do is change it at the source.
Okay.
Because it's a multicam clip. My ring light is like slightly covered.
But then it will also kind of like
then it
domino
flows
affect
through.
it?
Yes. Yep, I can edit the speaker name here. You can see there's the 3 dots and then I edit the speaker name. And then it will like flow through the rest of the clip and then it'll be updated. It'll take me like a moment to do this. So I think that there are probably more interesting things that you all could be watching than that.
Yeah, certainly.
But yes.
But it's nice to know that that resource is there to be able to utilize it in the event that you need to.
Yeah, it's super handy. And then like, so if I want to just do this one really quick without the So speaker 1 is I'll just do it on this one, interviewer. Speaker 2 is the coach. And then the other 2 was an AC and another AC yelling in the background.
Great.
So then, then I have them
And
all here.
yeah, look at that. It just goes all the way down the side.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yes.
really nice.
So if I just put in the interviewer here and then hit insert, and then I jump over here to the sequence, you can see it does flow through into the sequence as well.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah.
Great.
Yes. So
all right,
handy.
and then for another thing that's kind of hot and upcoming, there is obviously a lot going on with TikTok right now, and it's a very popular platform, especially for video content, short video content. In the availability of being able to publish straight to TikTok, what's new in that world?
Yes, everyone loves their TikTok, me included. I'll be on there scrolling. I'm like, ooh, it's midnight. Okay. So you can now export directly from TikTok from Premiere Pro without having to go and manage your uploads on your app or website. You can upload as a draft, so you can send it to the app without publishing, and it all happens without compromising any quality or ranking, which is sometimes challenging for people because algorithms, all that stuff can be
Yeah, don't I know it.
difficult when you're doing third-party publishing. But another thing that's really cool that we added that helps a lot is project templates and safe zones for social media. So let me just
And what
make
does
a
that
new
mean?
project really quick and I'll show you. Social media with my giant clicky keyboard. Okay, so now in the new project window, we have project templates right here. And there are a few that ship with Premiere. So we have broadcast template, we've got social media templates, and we've got standard. And you can also create and add your own. So if you've ever had a Premiere project that you would just use to start all your new projects and you had to like protect that project file so that it didn't get overwritten, this is basically doing that, but you install it inside the app. So it's not going to go anywhere. So you can have project templates with your sequences set up, with your audio routing already set up, assets you all use all the time in it. So you can start a new project from a template and you have everything set up. The bins, the bins, folders, everything set up the way you like. But one of the cool things that I love about the social media template project that we have included here is it includes sequences that are already pre-built to the correct size for different social media platforms.
Great.
And they have the safe zone overlays. So, when you publish on TikTok or something like that, it'll have UI over things. So sometimes people publish and they put text and then the TikTok caption is on top of it. You can't read it. We're trying to help with that. So now you can see I've got this. Let me switch over to my Essentials workspace. Okay. You can see it a little bit bigger. So this is the project that I made here with the social media template. And so we've got Facebook stories, TikTok, YouTube. And so let me show TikTok. I'll open this sequence.
Okay.
And see, we've got a vertical 9:16 TikTok already set up for TikTok here. And it's got this overlay basically that shows where the UI will be. So
it's also so interesting that it has this will be cut off because it has the 1920 by 1080.
Yes.
But it's still like it's gonna crop it. Get ready.
I know, it's so funny to see because you make some assumptions about what it'll look like, but then nope. Then you
and people don't have to download this into Audition. This is just baked into Premiere now.
Yes, and this is in the shipping version right now, so you can use this today.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So you see I got this right here. The UI is on it. So I know exactly what it's going to look like when I put it on TikTok.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
And then when you go to export, you would just hide that layer, right?
Yep. You can just turn off this layer right here.
But if I wanted to show it to a client, am I able to also export it with the overlay on top?
Yeah, if you like, sure. It's just it's basically shapes and little icons and things that one of our engineers built. So it's really I mean, it's just lo-fi. We're not doing anything special. It's just going through and recreating that UI. So you can definitely export it this way, but
Right.
delete or hide this layer before exporting to go to to go to TikTok. Otherwise, people are gonna be like, "Well, that's an interesting take."
Oh, that's a weird aesthetic that you've chosen.
Yeah, and then you can just go to the export screen here, and we've got TikTok as a destination right here. So I can tick that on, and yeah, you can sign in right here to upload. You can do a post or a draft. You can set your cover image, captions with your hashtags, privacy, allow users to duet or comment or stitch
Yeah, that's
it,
cool that
all
you
those
have even
things.
that native functionality built in so
Mhm.
that it is able to kind of finesse the settings outside of even just posting, but finesse the
Yes.
settings of like how people interact with it. Because I feel like
Mhm.
I know in other instances I've had things like share to Instagram, and you click the button and it kind of just like goes with all the defaults, and you're like,
Yeah,
but
it just
wait,
slams it up there and you're like,
yeah. And so it's nice to have all of this publishing content that you can have
Mhm.
baked straight into Premiere, but also you have the settings right there for you as well.
Yeah, it's also kind of cool because I used to have to manage a lot of social media when I was, one of those producer, editor, everythings early in my career.
Yeah.
And you'd have so many different local versions of stuff, and you just don't need every single one of them. So you can delete the local file after it uploads too, if you like. Of
Nice.
course, you
That
should
saves some
save
storage
one at
space.
some point, but yes,
Yeah.
you
No,
don't
no.
need all
Like
those
at the same
versions.
time, it's like, yeah, don't get too wild and crazy and just delete everything, because then you don't have your backups for it.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
it is nice because especially if it's a multiple rendering out or something, and you only need the draft of it,
Hmm.
it might be nice to free up some space on your computer, which is cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Little things that add up over time. You're like, why do I only have a gigabyte left? And you can't figure out why, because it's like hundreds of smaller files.
right. Just a
Uh,
collection of video files on top of video files on top of video files.
yeah. Yep.
Um, And then I know we talked a little bit about it as well earlier, but for user feedback with development, like so let's say I'm using this new TikTok feature or something and I run into an issue. When I go up to just provide feedback, is there anything that people should mention or include when they are including feedback?
Sure. Yeah. It's really helpful to hear more about your workflow.
Hmm.
Why would this be useful? Because then it puts into context for the people building to do it right. Sometimes when you ask for a particular feature, it might trigger inspiration in us to approach the problem to solve what you want, but approach it even more differently. So it's really helpful context to just hear about your own system configuration and needs, because we really do document all of that. It's really, really helpful for people to use our beta because we actually update the beta almost every day. So it's a great way for you to get access to the latest and greatest and see what we've got working. And it is quite stable. It's not like we're out here like, I don't know, let's push this to beta and see if everything explodes. Like, it's not like that. We
Hope
want
it sticks
people
together.
right. It's not like we're not just gluing stuff together and putting it out there. We feel good about it, but there are hundreds of millions of system configurations because Premiere is just so flexible and um interoperable with different systems, and you can use so many different kinds of media, so many different systems, computers, laptops, whatever OSs. So it's hard for us to be able to test on everybody's system, and
Yeah.
beta really helps us to test that stuff at scale to make sure that we are meeting everyone's needs. And it's not even just like, does it work or not, but it's more so like, we know it'll work or not, but does it work well? Not just does it perform well, but is the usability what we thought? Are all of these assumptions and all of this testing that we did about how tools work, like how you literally work with them, does that apply at scale the way we thought? And we're pretty good at knowing that stuff, but I'm not going to pretend that we know everyone's workflow everywhere. So hearing from everyone is really, really important.
Yeah, to that point, since it goes across so many different workflows and professions, Is there any sort of limitation to who you want to hear from, or do you only want to hear from industry professionals?
Absolutely not. We want to hear from everybody. I started using Premiere when I was 14 or 15, and I had thoughts and opinions, and I still do.
Yeah.
No, it's really helpful to hear from everyone because everyone is trying to create amazing stories in Premiere Pro. Whether it's for marketing or for a feature film, TV show, events, like there's so many ways that Premiere Pro is used now and by so many different people. And so I want to hear from people in all those different places that might be using the tool in a completely unexpected and inventive way.
Mhm.
All this feedback is so valid, and it's probably my favorite part of the job is getting to talk to people about the work that they're doing.
Yeah, there are places where there's a lot of like back and forth and communication, because obviously you have this where you can kind of support tickets, but where
Mhm.
kind of does the community gather?
There are places online, I think, where the community will gather, but we really put all of our effort primarily into the community forums. That's where we will go and interact and bring information and updates back. We have a lot of great community members that run their own user groups and communities all over the world. And we also have an amazing community team doing events all over the country and the world. We're going to be having a community event in Los Angeles at the end of this month. So hopefully we can share a URL for that as well.
Oh
And
wow,
there are
that's cool.
places where you can stay up to date with in-person or online community events and sign up and attend and meet some of the people behind the products and tell us what you think. We want to hear the good and the bad.
Oh, of course.
Yes.
Also, a Perva PR is saying 14. I was watching Flash Gordon and Centurions back then. Which, yeah, I think also though, even on top of this, is that your user base is probably um, the age is just probably continuing to lower and lower and lower, because I feel like kids are needing to edit videos and be comfortable with video editing at such a much of a younger age now, that like we were outliers since we used it when we were teenagers, but I don't think that's the case anymore, right?
Yeah, I think we have such a wide user base, but I think the equalizer is that everyone has access to be able to acquire moving
Yeah.
images now. When I was 14, 15, I still had to capture or digitize from my video camera, and not that many people had a video camera. And now anybody can can create a video, practically anyone with their mobile device, if not something else. So I think that there's just a lot more out there that needs to be edited. And so I think I hope a lot of people are seeing Premiere Pro as a way to really level up their editing workflow for sure.
Yeah, and then also in the chat, Wade's also including the Premiere Pro blog, which is a good place
Hmm.
for a lot of information.
Oh, yes.
And then also linking to community.adobe.com to
Hmm.
where the
Thank
Premiere
you.
Pro conversation is as well. Claire is
Yes.
saying she
Yes.
was using iMovie at 14, which is a little bit of an upgrade, and Premiere is where it's at. So
Yes. A little
it's nice
bit.
to be able to see that accessibility kind of
Hmm.
increasing. We only have a few minutes left, but what can we kind of expect? What's coming next? What can we look forward to? I know you mentioned a little bit about you said Las Vegas, right? Or was it Los Angeles?
Los Angeles.
Los Angeles. So Los
Yes.
Angeles event later at the end of the month.
Hmm.
Also, Robert wants to know: have you had a workshop with content creators on social platforms how to use Premiere and After Effects and the other apps in the Adobe family?
We have had sessions like that. The most recent one I can think of is Adobe Max. And a lot of those sessions were also online. So you can check out max.adobe.com and see if there's anything specifically for what you're looking for. Adobe Max is Adobe's huge annual conference, creativity conference. And it was in Los Angeles last October. And we just had so many filled up workshops and things. And one of our instructors there, Valentina V, actually created a free 2-hour Premiere Pro training on YouTube on our Adobe Video and Motion channel. And so that's also a great place to get started and learn a little bit more about the tool. She covers a lot in 2 hours, and a lot of it would apply to like a social creator as well. So that's free and it's all bookmarked and really easy to navigate. And Valentina is a treasure. So y'all should enjoy that.
Yeah, I love Valentina. Um, uh, One last thing I will say is that, yeah, Adobe Live, we tend to stick to the full releases for it, but every once in a while we'll have beta folks on too. So if you give a Google search or a YouTube search also for some of the Premiere tips along with social creators, that'll also pop up for you, Robert. But yeah, sorry, I cut you off about Los Angeles though. Los Angeles at the end of the month. Who's that in attendance to that? Who's that open for?
You know, pro video creators. Anyone, if you create video as part of your job or for your job, then think about joining us. We'll have people who work on the product and speakers, and we just want to meet you and learn from you about how we can continue to iterate on these products, what features to prioritize, what things you love, what things you hate, what things need a little bit more love. And yeah, it just really helps keep us grounded in the future of video storytelling in all of its forms.
Said. Thank you very much. Appreciate that, and we'll have to look forward to it and see kind of like what comes out of it. Is there anything else in the Adobe Premiere beta that we can look forward to or experiment with in the time being?
The best thing to do is to check out the beta forums regularly. Our engineers, product managers will post when there's a new functionality or feature or improvement that goes in there. And because there's a lot that flows into that all the time, and we can't market literally everything, but I mean, we can try, but you guys will be like, please stop emailing me. It's a great way to stay updated. We recently introduced emoji support and color fonts. So you've got that, and we've been doing just like continued performance updates and things. Also, if you have a Sony Burano, which I'm not sure how many people have their hands on them, but when you get yours, then that format will be supported natively in Premiere as well. It's supported in the beta, so you'll be ready to start cutting away.
Great. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you for walking us through all these cool new features. Really appreciate it. And yeah, everyone, thank you for having your questions and comments in chat. It was great having you guys. Stay tuned for more Adobe Live. We have more coming up for you. Stick right here, and we will see y'all real soon.